babies.
Kevin Costner and Ray Liotta and their dad's son. Bill falls asleep to them boning in the field.
John Cusack was in that movie, right? Too. Didn't he play Sheila's Show? Was that him? That one, I think he was in that one.
Was that no, John Cusack? No way.
Maybe I was thinking of 8 Men Out. Is he in 8 Men Out?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh,
thank God, because I haven't seen it either. I didn't want to be ridiculed.
Oh, that's
8 Men Out is what we call Wednesday morning in Irene's. We started the show there, boys. Feeling good on that one. The Some of Mine Sports Show. We talk all things New England sports. We are officially in the dog days of summer, so welcome to that. We'll try and pull out some topics to talk about. We're going to go blind opening takes. We have not discussed these yet. Bill, seeing as you haven't been here in a month, why don't you start?
Bruce Cassidy, unemployed 6 days. Bruins still looking for a coach. Ineptitude of the Bruins, still dead to me. Carry on.
Nice. Not in the show, but good opening take.
Just I'll go out there.
I actually have not thought about this one bit. Really flushed here. So Ray, do you have an opening take?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
I didn't have one, so I just had to think of something.
Yeah, see how it says show rundown? You could have just taken any one of those. But anyways,
Bill, you never have one. I think it's all off the cups.
Yeah, this is the worst.
Sometimes I put some thought into it.
Raymond,
this is the worst time of year. Baseball only. Billy Baseball and his boner for his fantasy team. That's all we're gonna hear about for the next 3 months. I fucking hate it. This is the worst time of year. Wake me up when football starts.
Love baseball.
Here's one that didn't make it in the email, but I made it in the show rundown, so I'll touch on that. Dan Snyder was expected in court to show up, didn't, so he's gonna get sued to show up in court sometime soon. Roger Goodell did show up in court, and it was, I don't know what the defamation for the workplace environment that is going on with the Washington Commanders and how fucking gross it is. And Roger Goodell just lied through his teeth yet again, this time under oath. That's called perjury. Get this fucking guy. Somebody go after him. He just lied and lied and lied. NFL scandals left and right. We'll be talking about the Deshaun Watson settlements as well. But just, if football wasn't so fucking good, they are so easy to hate. Good God, should they just be disbanded and every one of them been thrown in jail?
You're missing the best part. Dan Snyder was running a shadow investigation the same time that the NFL was, to basically pin it all on Bruce Allen in Washington, all the workplace hostility, all the sexual harassment. He basically ran an investigation behind the scenes to pin it all on Bruce Allen. This guy needs to be out of the NFL.
I have a question about that. Remind me, because it's not in the email. Remind me to get back to that when we talk about Deshaun Watson, because I want to get into the show here. The Some of Mine Sports Show rundown. Celtics recap, a little off-season talk, as they haven't heard from Bill since they dropped Game 6. We'll do some Red Sox, a little catching up on the Red Sox, seeing as Ray and I haven't watched the game yet. Golf talk. Live Golf is taking over, and do you love it or do you hate it? Well, let's see where Communist Bill lands. And scandals.
Newsflash.
Bill's a walking oxymoron. He loves guns, but he also, I feel like, he's like running that Trump vein, like kind of respects Putin, but also America, fuck yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he's wearing a lime green shirt, so who knows?
It's yellow.
No, it's lime green.
Yeah, it's gross. Simplest Minds of the Week. Bill, you made it last week. We'll see if you make it again this week. This is the Simple Minds Sports Show, Friday Rewind, June 24th.
Hey, Bill, birth.
Thank you.
Welcome to the show. Bill doesn't give full happy birthdays.
Well, look how old Bill is. He's 52. I mean, you don't got many more of these to go. You might want to start.
Don't care about my birthday. You're right.
Just start stretching them out. Speaking of stretching them out, if you're watching on YouTube, we apologize. If you're listening on the any podcast, wherever you get your podcast, go check it out. iTunes, Spotify, wherever. Give us a like, give us a review, and share it. Tell your friends. And tell your mothers. Let's start with a little Celtics recap. Shall we, boys? Let me ask you, Bill. We didn't get you. The only time Ray and I talked about this was immediately after Game 6 at like 11:30 at night.
Rich was drunk.
I was drunk and angry. What's new? So let's just give me your I'll ask you, was it a success? Was the season a success ultimately? Wick Grossbeck on the radio this week called the season a success with a disappointing end. Would you agree, disagree? How would you label the season?
Did they win the championship?
Ray?
No, they did not, Bill.
Not a success. Championships talk in Boston, and that's I mean, that's the way I see it. You had a successful season when you win a championship. Anything besides that is a failure in my eyes, especially the way the Celtics went about doing it. You're up 2-1 and going into game 4 with our dipshit friend in the building, and you pissed away a big lead in the fourth quarter, and you never looked back. You lost 3 straight. The only time in the playoffs, by the way, that you lost more than 1 game in a row.
First time since December they lost more than 3. They lost 3 in a row.
Huge problem, right? I mean, just the way they do it. You pissed away a championship. I thought after game 1, I understand you game 2 you lost, but I thought once you're up 2-1, I thought for sure, like, wow, they really have a chance doing this. Even though I picked Golden State to win in 6 games, it was all our jinx friend. He jinxed us. Ever since that game 4, they look nothing like the Celtics that we've seen since January.
Yeah, it was really his wife's fault.
It's all Ray and Kelly's fault. They jinx the Celtics. He usually loses when he's in the building, Ray, for anything because he sucks at life, and that's the way it goes. And he cost the Celtics a championship, not Jason Tatum.
Can I interrupt you real quick?
I will just say,
No. Let me say, Bill called me his friend. Newsflash. That's big.
Said our friend, so I kind of split it in half. I will just say, also, as far as the mush goes, I've been to 3 Patriots games with Raymond. Patriots have won all 3. So, am I just that good, or is it?
I puked in both your cars. Boom.
Oh, you did. That was awesome. Me and Ray have been to 8 or 9 Patriots games, 10. They've never lost, but when he goes alone, they lose. He's a fucking jinx.
You're the mush.
Good luck.
Yeah. So maybe you guys should sack up and it should have came with me.
Good omens.
How much those cost? $3? No thanks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
To your point on a successful season, not if you won a championship. This is a little bit of a cop out, but if next year they go on to win, or I'll give you even the next 2 years with pretty much this core together. If they go on to win, then we can look back and call it a success. We can look back and call it a step in the right direction. And they finally got one in a relative time frame. But yeah, I think when we recorded, Ray, I said it was a success because of where they came from. But if you go all the way back to the bubble, they took 3 steps back from there. And then it took them half a season to get their shit together. And then they were the best team in the league, hands down, from January all the way up until game 5 of the NBA Finals. So, yeah, it was a choke job. They ran out of gas. They ran out of experience. They ran out of shots, whatever. We can talk about why they lost. But I don't know. It's a hard one not to call it a success. I mean, you went to the NBA Finals with Jason Tatum as a 24-year-old after you started 20 and 28 at a shitty season last year. I don't know. You're 2 games away from the finals. You probably call it success, but I think a lot depends on how you come back from it next year. Raymond?
I call it a success. None of us had them going to the NBA championship, except for me, just because I'm a homer and I do it just to piss you guys off. But I think Bill had them in the second round. Also,
this is how you know you're a homer, because you also made the bet, the ookie cookie bet, that they wouldn't be the top 4 team in the league. So your prediction was the finals.
Wrong. And not top 4 in the league.
That cookie, bitch.
Sorry to interrupt you. Go ahead.
I call it a success. I mean, none of us thought they would make it that far. They were 2 games away from winning the NBA championship. Look where they were in December. I think they were an 11th seed, and we were talking about blowing it up, saying trade Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, just start all over from scratch because these guys just don't get it. They turned it all around. A huge success. You were 2 games away, like I said, from winning it all.
Was Phoenix a successful season last year? Followed up with this year's early playoff exit
last year. Yeah, it's a success. Why wouldn't it be?
But the same criteria Rich just laid out. If you don't follow it up going back to a championship, they lost in the second round.
Phoenix was it? Phoenix, I think,
they're injured this year.
Well, same thing could happen to the Celtics.
The Lakers were injured last year when Phoenix went to the finals. Right?
I think
over the Lakers. Come on,
Phoenix is a good comp. You got 2 young stars there. They got to the finals last year, and they played a team they probably should have beaten, the Bucks. And they fell short, and everyone thought they'd be right back there this year, and they were the best team in the league all season, and they shit their pants in the playoffs. Let's just hope Jason Tatum is not CP3. Like that's nice segue, Rich. Biggest takeaways from the season. I'll give you a couple. You tell me yours. Tatum's growth, I think, is kind of being lost on where he came from to start the season or where he ended last season to what he became. The distributor that he became this year and the way he worked out of double teams to make the leap that he made in a year is pretty impressive. Pretty fucking impressive. They gave him first team All-NBA. A lot of that is bullshit, but he went to the Olympics, won a gold medal. He's made that leap into the upper echelon of NBA players. We obviously know that he's still a step or two away from really being that championship player. But that's gotta be the biggest takeaway, and nobody's fucking talking about it. Jason Tatum's leap this year was huge for them.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, you look at the way they finished last year, losing 4-1 to Brooklyn. I mean, he had one good game in that series where he dropped 50. Other than that, you didn't expect much. And then the way they started, I mean, he grew from December on. I mean, you saw that growth immediately right before the trade deadline when they went on their run. What did they finish? 26-6 or some ridiculous number like that. So, I mean, that's the growth that we wanted. I mean, we alluded to the Patriots with Mac Jones. Like, that's a jump that the Patriots need to see, is what Jason Tatum went from last year to this year. I mean, first team All-NBA, you're looking at, probably a top 12, top 10 player in the league, on the outside, right there, right now with his talent, probably looking up next year. If he repeats that, you're looking at, cracking that top 5, top 6 player. I mean, he's right there, and I did not expect him. I mean, even though I've been tooting the superstar horn for a couple years now, I backed off that a little bit, but he's there.
Fuck you, Bill.
He's there, but
fuck you, Snip Snaps.
I wanted to trade him in fucking November. I'm pretty sure I said trade.
You want to trade everybody?
November, December, and January. I think you want to get rid of him.
I still do.
Obviously, we talked about the turnaround was huge. We've made a lot of it, but a couple more for you, Ray. Ime's impact on this team, I think a little too much is being made out of it. I think Brad Stevens was preaching the same shit that Ime was preaching. They just needed a change. They just needed a voice. They just needed a change in voice because that system didn't change too much. They were defense first.
Quit playing like assholes. You don't hear that from Brad Stevens.
I think I'll let you go here, Ray, but I think Udoka came in and Brad Stevens told him, you need to define these guys' roles. And maybe he said, that's where I failed, whatever that conversation was, because I think that's the biggest thing Udoka did, even though it fell apart for Marcus Smart at the end. We'll get to that. But I think Udoka's biggest strength was defining roles for them and getting them to play within those roles this season, Raymond.
The other thing I think is that Ime played in the league, so these guys respect him because he's been there. He knows how to, he knows what these guys are going through. Unlike Brad Stevens, who coached at Butler, decent D1 college, and that's it. He's never been in the limelight, never had to go through the grind like these guys did. So I think they just respect him more for that.
Outcoached in the finals.
Yeah, I think you could probably say that, Bill. We'll get to the reasons they lost in a minute. We'll go over a couple more impacts. Al, I'll give you a toot on the Al Horford move. I put this under Brad Stevens moves. You could label that as Al Horford for Kemba Walker was a win. They traded for Derek White, and they traded a good amount for him. They traded a first, Langford and Richardson, who, if you ask me, Richardson might have been more valuable to this team off the bench
because he could shoot a little bit better than White could.
He could go out there and give you 35 any given night. Not any given night, but every once in a while, he could be that guy off the bench that spelled him. We saw it in the first half of the season. So I'm not quite sure that's a win on the Derek White thing. But Al Horford, certainly, I'll give you the smaller one. Daniel Tice on a very small level, I think was a smart move, getting Dennis Schroeder out more so, bringing Tice back.
Weren't you calling for Tice's head in the finals?
Always. He sucks.
Always. He fucking sucked in the finals, but he played decent minutes.
Just making sure.
He played decent
He's
minutes.
The Brian Scalabrine of a team.
Yeah, once in a while he'll come in and have a stretch of a couple games. But would you rather have had Dennis Schroeder going in there mucking shit up every time he went in, or Daniel Tice on the bench, and every 15th game he has a decent game?
I would have taken nothing back to get rid of Daniel Schroeder. So
Dennis Schroeder,
yeah,
he was mucking shit up. I think that was a wise move by him. Other than that, there wasn't a lot of transactional shit that made a difference, but I think Brad took Danny's talent and made a team with it, and that allowed Grant Williams to play a role, Rob Williams to play a role. Marcus Smart became your starting point guard, which for the most part worked.
Yeah.
Until
it didn't.
Any thoughts on Brad's moves or Horford or anything like that?
I think the 2 extensions, as much as we want to trade Marcus Smart, I mean, he's a defensive player of the year and only at a $22 million contract. That's a bargain in the NBA. And then Rob Williams, too, has a lot of trade value after he got some defensive player of the year votes in all NBA. I think he was the second team, I believe. First, he won one of the first or second teams. I think he was on the second team all NBA.
Rob Williams?
Defense.
NBA. Oh, defense. Yeah.
Defense.
Okay.
Defense.
He forgot that word. Yeah.
No, I said all NBA. I said all NBA defense. Anyways,
but his brain works faster than ours.
Yeah.
Does.
And in numbers. He's just trying to translate the Matrix out of his mouth. Sorry, bro, go ahead.
But no, again,
go ahead, Dio.
He even looks like the Matrix in his lime green fucking shirt.
Mm-hmm.
It's yellow.
Screen.
Go ahead, piss.
No, but even on Rob Williams, and again, another favorable contract, 18 million. And again, for his production, you've seen the impact that he brings. I mean, he's good for 10, 12 points, a couple blocks, 10, 12 rebounds. I mean, he's an impact player. And again, you got him on a cheap contract in this day and age in the NBA for his caliber of play. Speaking of another guy that made a jump was Rob Williams this year. He's finally fairly healthy until the end when he tore his meniscus. But I mean, you see the impact he had on the court. And again, it's another favorable contract. So he's built contracts to go after the guys like Bradley Beal and players like that you could bring another superstar in. And it's those deals that he signed too. So I think that needs to be factored in there too.
It's a great point. And the Rob Williams one really worked out. Rob Williams had a career year, and he in the finals in a press conference, he was asked what Udoka has done for him. And he said, basically, coach told me to stop being a pussy, stop letting fuckers run me over. And you could see that. I went from trade Rob Williams and any deal that brings me back something, because I thought that he would never be able to stay on the court, to really respecting, at least respecting the effort out of Rob Williams going out there with a torn meniscus. Clearly he wasn't right, basically from the get-go.
From the Bucks, he came back in the Bucks series? Yeah, game 2 or game 3, and he
came back in the Nets series. He came back for 5 minutes in the Nets series. Remember, Ben Simmons was supposed to come back, and then Time Lord.
He came back in game 4, right? And then he missed. He didn't play much, but he missed a game in the finals. He missed a game in the Bucks. He missed a game against Miami. And I think the Miami series you saw where him really gutting it out, where he's limping up and down the court. That back goes
towards the end there, but he had a couple real big impact games. So that deal is stellar. Anybody that wants to take a chance on a top 5-7 center in the league with the amount of upside that he has, that's there. Good job, Bill. You always like Time
that's
Lord.
My God.
And then you got Marcus Smart. Together. We thought Marcus Smart's highest trade value was 2 years ago after the bubble. Nay. Defensive player of the year on an affordable contract, has proven he can play the point guard position. That you have to if you're ever going to move him, it has to be this. It has to be right now. Mm-hmm. It has to be right now. And we'll get to that. Should they move him? What did them in, Raymond? Was it the lack of experience, lack of shooting, lack of depth, lack of Brad Stevens has come out and said we need more playmaking on this team next year? Is that a Marcus Smart 7 years?
How long has Brad Stevens been here? 2013, 2014. So I've heard it for fucking 8 years.
Says Marcus Smart. They've gone through 5. Is Smart their 5th or 6th point guard?
Ah, shit. Rondo,
Isaiah, Kyrie, Kemba, Marcus.
There was a guy in the middle when they traded Jason Terry and all those guys. Wasn't there a guy somewhere that came back in that?
Oh yeah, that first Marcus. That he doesn't count. But either way, yeah, they've been looking for it for a long time. Ray, out of those experience, shooting, depth, playmaking, what did them in finally at the end of the season?
I mean, it's all 3, but I say lack of depth because the starters you could tell were fatigued towards the end of that series. They weren't hustling down the court. You could tell Tatum was tired. You could tell Brown was tired. All these guys, they were just checked out. I mean, I think the bodies were just telling them, "Hey, this is too much for me right now." And there's no one off the bench that could go in and take their place. So I'd say lack of depth.
Let's rewind to the opening 3 minutes of Game 6. Man, we're up 10. Fucking team's rolling right now. That's it. I just wanted to. I forgot to say that when we were talking about jinx parts.
Captain Mush, Ray texted that to us. I generally start games a little bit late. so I can rewind a little, rest forward a little bit, or I'm putting my kid to sleep or whatever. And I got the text and stupidly looked at it before I started watching the game, and I got so angry. And guess what? Bill and I were right. Captain fucking Mush. We're up 10, fucking 6 minutes in the game. What happened after that, Bill?
21-0 run.
21
wasn't that
nothing.
an NBA? Was it an NBA Finals
50
record or something?
years. So basically, might as well be the 21-0 run. I'll give you the answer to this. It's very easy. Experience. You watch the Warriors turn it on. They went through their 4 games. They watched the Celtics collapse in game 4. And then in game 5, you watch them mentally fold. Game 6, they had it in the bag. Before they even stepped foot on the plane, they had that game.
It was over at halftime.
It was. They knew they were going to take a punch in the first quarter of that game 6. They took it, and then they went on 21-0 run. You watch the body language. Van Gundy said it in the broadcast. You could hear Jaylen Brown go into the huddle and try and get his guys. He said, "Wipe that look off your face." So it was literally varsity versus JV. It was the big dogs versus the puppy dogs. They had never been there before. They used up all that goodwill and all that experience and everything they built up throughout that season, and it just went away after game 4. It just went away. Zero experience, 0 NBA Finals games experience on that team versus 192. Steph wasn't losing that series. So that also is a little bit why I still call the season a success. They ran up. It's not like they ran up against the Suns. It's not like they ran up against Luka and the Mavericks. They ran up against the team that's been to the finals 6 out of the last 8 seasons, only missing 2 of those because of injuries. The Warriors are a modern day dynasty, and the Celtics lost to them. I'm not saying hold your head up high. It sucks, but Steph was on a fucking mission.
It's not the Bruins. It's not the Bruins losing the St. Louis Blues.
Perfect.
Right.
Example.
I mean, and again,
or the Patriots losing the 2017 fucking Eagles. And that dickhead.
Yeah.
Worst example, but I wanted to get that off my chest.
But I mean, you have a point, right? I mean, I think that was the biggest factor going in was the lack of experience, and you're going up against, a top 7 player in the league, probably the greatest shooter of all time. And he won the MVP. I mean, you saw they were on a long rest, right? They finished Dallas in 5 games. Celtics won 7 games against Miami, right? So, I mean, they took the punch in game 1. They blew game 1. I mean, you think this was a gentleman's sweep if fucking Golden State decided to pull their head out of their ass in the 4th quarter of game 1. I mean, that's a gentleman's sweep right there. And in fact, I might even say a full sweep, because if you're going down 2-0 going back to Boston, you would have saw Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown quit before they quit in game 6, right? I mean, that's the biggest thing. Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. I mean, they're your big 3. They've been the big 3 since the start. They've sustained everybody. They've added pieces, but they drafted those guys, and they're what we hope this core group can turn into.
Yeah, I agree with you. I'll disagree with you on the quit thing. The only guy I actually saw quit on the court, surprisingly not Jason Tatum. He just sucked. The only guy I saw quit was Marcus Smart. The only guy I actually saw quit. I mean, everyone was playing with their head down and without tenacity and were playing poorly. But even late into that game, Jason Tatum couldn't hit a shot, so he was driving. He just couldn't hit a layup. They missed when they were down 8 and trying to make a push in the 4th quarter. Rob Williams missed 2 putback dunks that he usually get, one off a Jaylen Brown drive, one off a Tatum drive. Jaylen Brown, I thought, played really hard to the very last minute of that game when he was taken out. I was impressed by they just were just too young. They're too young and too experienced, and they got bullied. They got bullied and they lost. I think that's
lack of depth didn't hurt either. That bench was a joke. Grant Williams
minus 51.
Is that a record too?
Yeah, minus 51 from the bench. Not great.
And you see why you have Tatum and Brown playing over 40 minutes a game. Same thing with Marcus Smart. I'm in the high 30s to low 40s. I mean, you needed a guy to spell those guys. Any 6 man, any guy that could come off the bench. You know what I mean? And even if you had a half broken Gordon Hayward that could produce minutes and points off the bench, someone like that, not him, but someone like that could come in spurts. A Terry Rozier that you had on the bench years ago in that the East Finals run when Isaiah and all those guys, when fucking Kyrie was out, or when Kyrie was out, I'm sorry, with Tatum and Brown. A guy like that, a guy that can give you legit, not a Derek White. That was the problem. When you spell your Marcus Smart, you spell your Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, you don't have a guy that can produce even half of what those three guys are producing. And that was what killed you. You look at the way Steve Kerr ran his bench. You had Poole, you had Looney, you had fucking Otto Porter, guys that you could come off the bench. Gary Payton Jr. You had guys that could come off the bench and produce serviceable minutes, where the Celtics lacked that in this series.
I was thinking that they had guys come out and have quarters after quarters, right? It was like Gary Payton Jr. would come out and hit 2 or 3 threes in a quarter, get his points. Then you'd have Wiggins come out and have a quarter. Then you'd have Poole come out and have a quarter. And then Steph would get, Clay would get hot for a couple shots. And in the meantime, Steph goes and has his runs. So yeah, they had a wave of guys, and you had nobody. You had no points off the bench, 0, nothing, no offense, absolutely nothing. And that caught up to him. And the last point I'm making that, Ray, said you thought stamina caught up with him. Don't go 20 and 28 to start the season and having to play your stars 40 minutes a night in December and January so you can get back in the swing of things, and then having to play them 40 minutes a night in April just to prove a point that you can't let a lead slip, you assholes. Don't do that. And let these guys rest in the regular season like normal superstars, and maybe they'll have some legs. All right, real quick break, and then just want to touch on a couple offseason notes for the Celtics.
Real quick, move on. Game 5, Steph Curry had 16 points. That was a game you needed to steal. It was his worst game in the series, and again, that was just in an aptitude of the Celtics in the series, holding him to 16 points, and you can't win when he's the NBA Finals MVP. That's a serious
mental collapse. Yep. That was the game of the fourth quarter where Marcus Smart got teed up at the beginning of the fourth quarter. You were supposed to go up 2 or 3 or 4. You were down 1 because you had a bad shot. Jordan Poole hit a half-court shot.
And you were up 7 or 8 in the third quarter, too, at one point. And then you let them come back and take the lead. And then you took the lead. You took the lead again. And then you collapse in the fourth. But Steph Curry had his worst game in the series, and that's a game you needed to win. This is a different series going game 6 if you could steal that, and you couldn't do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Blown chances. Okay, quick break. We'll be back. I guess it is fun, and the NBA has done a really good. They've turned on the NFL switch when it comes to their offseason and how they're just promoted, because it's just rumors. We went long on that other segment, so we'll just touch on a couple things. Clearly, we just made it clear that the Celtics have a ton of holes, mainly on their bench, scoring holes and playmaking deficiency. So Raymond,
yes, sir.
Where do you want to go here? Here's what I gave you. Here's your holes. Point guard. I'm just waiting for Irene.
I was looking at Bill. I was like, wait,
I was thinking about it. I was waiting to go because I was going to say, well, Irene's butthole, but it didn't fit into play.
Yeah, everyone's filled that. I think we need someone a little bit more creative. We need a point guard. Shooting depth. You need low post depth. Al Horford's going to be 37 on a $20-something million contract.
Get rid of him.
You need Tatum to take the next step, or a half step at least. And I think you need better usage out of Jaylen Brown. And maybe that comes from a better point guard. But Jaylen Brown shouldn't be in the corner every fourth quarter, just standing there. He's proven to you that he can handle the bright lights, maybe more so than Tatum. So those are the things that I said. Here are the targets that have been thrown out there. Bradley Beal is the big one now. Believe what you want on the internet. DeAndre Ayton, I heard thrown around a lot before, which is intriguing to me.
Phoenix just said they're trying to clear cap to sign him, which is weird because they benched him, and I feel like it's all smoke and mirrors at that point.
I've heard Portland with him a lot too.
Yeah,
obviously Portland's going to try and load up with Dame over there,
which is weird because they just traded McCullough.
He's trying to get him to go to New Orleans.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Anyway, Ray, your thought on the offseason moves. I put some free agent vets that you could talk about too. Just, I don't know, a couple minutes on the offseason. We'll get to it more moving forward, but go ahead.
Most important piece for me, I think, is a point guard that actually plays point guard, that can shoot and doesn't think he's the most defensive player of the league and jacking up threes like Allen Iverson in the fourth quarter in a playoff game where he shouldn't be. So yeah, a point guard that knows his role, can shoot, can distribute. That is key for me right now.
So basically Marcus Smart in January?
Yeah. But 82 games.
That's the key part, right? Because we lost the January Marcus Smart in the playoffs. Marcus Smart's shot attempts in the regular season were 10.5. In the playoffs, they went up to 13.5. I don't remember the exact numbers, and they've changed now since the series ended. But in the playoffs, Marcus Smart had more fourth quarter shots than Jason Tatum. I think Jaylen Brown had one more shot than him. Jaylen Brown was shooting something like 37% in the fourth quarter. Jason Tatum was shooting in the 40s. Marcus Smart, I think, was 3 for 26 in the fourth quarter. That's
be firing away.
2020 Marcus Smart, 2019 Marcus Smart. That's the guy that went away in January, and you were the best team in the NBA, and he reverted right back to it. And there's no reason to think that he won't do that again. It'll be his 9th season in the NBA. I'm with you. I don't know who that guy is as a point guard. I think you're threading the needle because I think Marcus Smart did a really good job until he didn't. But I would do it just for a change of attitude, changes in attitude, changes in latitude. I think the Jays are done with him. I think his matches just run dry.
I wouldn't mind seeing him coming off the bench.
That's never going to happen with Marcus Smart.
I know it won't, but that would be awesome. I think he would be a great sixth man.
If Marcus Smart played Derek White's role, terrific.
Yeah.
Terrific. But you already have Derek White. So one of them has to go.
Yeah, it's Derek White.
And one of them's cheaper.
You'd move Derek White?
No,
I would try to upgrade the bench more. I don't hate the starting five. I think defense is what is winning you a lot of games. You had pretty much the best defensive team in the league last year. Ime's a defensive coach with a la coming on the Greg Popovich mold, but I think bench scoring is the biggest thing. I think your starting five is one of the best starting fives in the NBA. I think you need to upgrade at your power.
Who the fuck is this guy?
I think you need to upgrade at your power forward position, get rid of Al Horford with legit, only because of his age. I thought he played his role perfectly this year. You can look to upgrade there, and you can look to upgrade bench scoring. Derek White, Grant Williams, guys like that, if you can upgrade, you can. Guys like Patty Mills, who you mentioned in this email, I would be fine bringing Patty Mills. He could give you points off the bench, better shooter, better scorer than a guy like Derek White. But that's where you need to look to upgrade, because I do not see. And the only reason I was saying this is because I don't see Marcus Smart going in any deal. I think he's Brad Stevens' binky. I think he's what he thinks is the heart and soul of this team, and I think he's entrenched in this lineup for years to come. I think he's the point guard. I think they're growing tired of him as a team, but Brad Stevens isn't. So until Brad Stevens gets tired of him, that's when you're going to start seeing him. The Bradley Beals of the world, I don't see him coming, because that's going to cost you a Jaylen Brown, Rob Williams, Marcus Smart. He's going to sign for 5 years at $248 million. So you have to either get him to give up $70 million to try to come here, or B, trade a shit ton of assets in the sign and trade deal. I get you. I understand you have a trade exemption, but I'm pretty sure you can include that.
You can't include it, but just to give you numbers on that, between Derek White, Daniel Tice, and Al Horford, you can get Bradley Beal. And that's a situation.
You sound like fucking Ray with that trade offer.
Well, that's a situation. Bradley Beal says, "I'm leaving." Right.
Guess.
So this happens in the NBA all the time.
So it's going to be a Drew Holiday.
3 first-round picks in the money.
4 first-round picks.
4 first-round picks in the money.
2 pick swaps. Then cool. I'm all for it.
Right.
But you still got to add it at the power forward, because you don't want fucking Grant Williams starting at your power forward.
But you got to sign him too. He's up for a deal, so you could
see you later. Like you started like Grant Williams. I've been out on Grant Williams. Like
hey, fuck you, man. Grant Williams had a run. He just disappeared. I'm down to get rid of him. I'm absolutely down to get rid of literally anybody except for Tatum and Brown.
Rob Williams is entrenched on this team too.
I'll give you. I would trade Rob Williams in a fucking second.
Yeah.
I'll give you this on Smart. I'll give you this on the starting lineup, and that includes Horford. Though you can't. You're still doing it, Bill. You're still underappreciating Al Horford and what he means to that starting lineup.
I apologize for my take to you.
I think
you were right. I said you were fucking right, but you can upgrade with him. He disappeared in the finals, Rich. He disappeared. He's 37 years old. You need to look to upgrade there. That's the problem.
He needs to drop his minutes. You need to drop his
exactly. So if you can upgrade your bench, you can upgrade Grant Williams, Daniel Tice, right? All right. If you want to be real, White, Tice, Williams, your 3 core guys off the bench. That's where you need to upgrade. As much as I like Peyton Pritchard, you need to upgrade there. You need to upgrade. He's a defensive liability. He's already bitching about his role. He's a young guy bitching. I need to just get a role where I play 20 minutes. You're exposed in 20 minutes. You're a spotty shooter at best. Those are the 4 guys you need to upgrade. And that will allow
Aaron Neesmith next year, baby.
That will allow Tatum, Brown, and Williams to play less minutes, and Horford. That's where you need to upgrade your bench. You're fine in your starting 5 if you plan on keeping Horford. I would upgrade if you can there. That's my biggest, and move him to a bench role if you can. I think him coming off the bench in limited minutes would be better than Grant Williams coming off the bench.
At $27 million, you want him coming off the bench?
Because that's at 37 years old. That's what a 37-year-old could do. At this point,
he doesn't have to come off the bench.
I'm 37. I can't do that.
As long as he doesn't play 35 minutes, 40 minutes a night. I'm with you, and I can go both ways on the Celtics. Like, their starting lineup, and they've probably earned one more crack at it. However, if you identify this team and your deficiency is playmaking, and you think your biggest weakness down the stretch was Marcus Smart's decision making, then that's a move that you should make. Or if you look at it and say Jason Tatum just needs to take the next step, and if he can figure out how to take over fourth quarters, doesn't really fucking matter who's playing point guard, then there's your next step. And that's probably more realistic, honestly. If Jason Tatum figures out how to dominate fourth quarters, then yeah, sure, Marcus Smart can stay your point guard, and yeah, upgrade your bench here and there and tweak the edges. That's probably the more realistic path.
If you got the Jason Tatum you got in the Nets series, you win the NBA Finals.
Yeah, you win. You probably win in 6.
So there you go. So right. So if you think on those lines, is like you said, big fourth quarters. Think of him in the first, even against Milwaukee. He had one bad game, 2 bad games in that 7-game series. And you look, he took over a lot of games late. Right. So I mean that's where, if he can learn how to do that consistently, I mean, yeah, that takes you over the edge. Jason Tatum's the biggest X factor of the reason you didn't win a championship, because the lights got. The single biggest reason you did not beat Golden State was because he did not play at his All NBA level in the finals.
I agree.
Period. And he had 13 points in Game 6 in a closeout game. You needed him. His best performance of the playoffs in Game 6 wasn't there. He wasn't there. Sorry,
Ray. You disagree?
Yeah, I think it was other factors. I don't think it was just solely Jason Tatum being the one.
Well, you didn't say solely. You said the biggest.
Yeah, I don't think it was the biggest. Minus 51 from the bench in this Game 6. I mean, the bench sucked in the whole Golden State series.
What, you lose by 10 in Game 6?
It was like a 20-point game.
Was it 20?
Yeah.
I mean, when it got away from us, like 20. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. If Tatum kept. It was the same as last year. I told you this last year. If Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown make the leap, they will be a top 4 team in the East, and they were. If Jason Tatum makes the next leap and figures out how to play with his back to the basket, not 40 feet from it, saw Kobe do it, saw MJ do it, saw LeBron do it, saw all these guys that saw different defenses throughout their career offensively shift and move to a different part of the floor so they could operate and still score, not just distribute, but score. You can't score from 45 feet unless you're Steph, and nobody's Steph. So Jason Tatum has to learn how to get the ball on the block or close to it and score. Look at Giannis, look at Kobe, look at MJ, look at all these guys that operate inside the 3-point line. And then you move out. And then you move out to the 3. So I agree. That's the biggest move. Okay. There's a lot of Celtics talk. Their season's over. Won't be talking about them for a while. So until then, let's throw it over to headlines with the obvious one.
Thank you there, Richard. We are officially in the dog days of summer. Woof, woof. I will now read the rest of the headlines like Scooby-Doo. The Red Sox are winner. I can't do fucking Scooby-Doo. Chicken dinner. They take over the number 1 wild card spot from the Blue
Come on, man. You have to at least try.
Yeah, I can't. Trevor Story continues to be a super duper Abiaga, even with the team wearing their stupid canary yellow uniforms like Bill.
You hate those? I kind of like them.
I do too.
You would. Fucking green shirt.
The Celtics president of basketball operation, Brad Stevens, says all options are open and they're taking in order to improve the team. I can't.
Just keep going. Come
Maybe
on.
that means Marcus Smart and Scooby-Doo scram. Live Golf scored its latest
fucking ruin the number 1 line.
sorry. Live Golf scored its latest blood money victim in Brooks Koepka. The PGA Tour responded by adding extra goodie bags in the clubhouse for the scrubs left on tour. And Bobby Gronkowski has retired from the NFL again.
Or has he?
This has been Headlines with the Obvious One. Back to you there, Richard. I can't do Scooby-Doo.
Bill really stepped on your last word there, too.
Yeah.
That was the worst Scooby-Doo in the history of Scooby-Doos.
It was bad.
I don't do Scooby-Doo.
All
I
right.
don't do anything good.
True. Ray, do you have that same shirt?
No.
Yes, he does. He wore it when we played golf. Fuck you, Ray. As I said it, I was like, fuck, I just bought that shirt.
Catching up with the Red Sox. Ray, take a nap. Actually, I'll take a walk, too. I haven't watched fucking almost any baseball for good reason because it's long and
I'll keep you caught up.
Thanks. Okay. I'll give you some catch up. We don't have to go. I won't read all of this, but we'll take it player by player, stat by stat. I want to do catching up with the Red Sox with the stats because baseball is about statistics. Ask Billy Baseball.
That's why I got a hard on right now.
Yeah. The guy's been.
I saw that table move.
Bumped up. As of Wednesday, they're a half game out of that first wild card spot. They're never going to get the division. The Yankees are on 120 something win pace.
120 pace. Yep.
They won't keep that up either, but they're still not going to. You're 12 games back. You're not going to catch the Yankees. So it's the wild card. You get 3 wild card spots. No reason this team should not be in the playoffs. You're basically tied with the Blue Jays at this point. You gotta remain status quo. So actually, Bill, you want to just do a quick synopsis or your thoughts on the Red Sox recently here as people tune back into baseball now that the summer's here?
I mean, I think since May 19th, you're the third best record in baseball. I think the Braves are right up there and the Yankees too. So you're right behind them after the Braves just lost a 14-game winning streak. I mean, you're playing good. The bats are hot. I mean, you get contributions from everybody, even Frenchy Cordero's hitting. I mean, he had 3 hits their last win against Detroit last night, Tuesday, as we record on Wednesday. So, I mean, they're playing good. Tanner Houck looks like he's kind of settling in that closer role, which has actually been, stabilizing that bullpen. I mean, Matt Strome went out there Tuesday night and kind of struggled a little bit. You saw him come in and get a save. So, I mean, you're stabilizing a little bit there. You're still struggling a little bit on pitching. I don't trust Rich Hill. You almost gave a game away when he started. But, I mean, you're getting contribution. Trevor Story's second or third in the AL in RBIs, which is good to see. But, I mean, you're still, I think, pitching's still your X factor. You got holes in your lineup in first base and right field. You can't keep playing fucking Bobby Dahlbuck and Jackie Bradley there. So, I mean, you need to add. You still need to add. You're a playoff team. I picked you 92, 93 wins. You're still a playoff team. The division is out. Check the tape. You fucking know it. Check the tape. I said after
he did. I remember that. After he said that, I was like, oh, fuck, he did say that.
After their shitty start, I said they're not going to win 70 games, but I also said the same thing last year as they kept winning. So I'm always down on the Red Sox, but this year for some reason I picked them and they started off shitty, but they're hot. They're going to make the playoffs.
They don't feel like a team that should be this hot and it's good.
Yeah, they got
shit.
I was optimistic about them last year. And I had, I think, some reasons to be. I was so down on them this year and the way they handled their offseason. Obviously, there was a lockout and it was a weird, truncated, short offseason. So maybe I was just down on baseball in general. But I didn't like the Story deal. I thought they needed to do something in starting rotation. They didn't do anything. They did less in the bullpen. I just didn't think that it would translate. And to be, if it wasn't for the Yankees, right in the mix of it, like, doesn't feel like that club, but I guess $230 million payroll shows up at some point. You still got one of the best lineups in baseball, and your pitching has done enough so far.
Even your bullpen, you got Ray's cousin out there now, Schreiber, whatever his name is out there, and in the bullpen. So, I mean, you're adding something. I mean, he's got a .89 ERA in 21 and a third innings right now. So,
all right, take it easy with the digit jizz. Let's go through a couple statistics here. I'll give you the leaders on the team for. We'll start with the lineup and your big statistics here: home runs, RBIs, batting average, OPS. Your home run leaders: Rafael Devers with 16, Trevor Story after a slow start with 11, JD Martinez with 8, Xander Bogaerts with 6, Dahlbuck with 5. Bobby Dahlbuck with 5.
You know what's funny? 3 of those guys probably won't be on this team next year.
Cool. RBIs. Your leader is Trevor Story, the RBI machine with 48. Rafael Devers up there at 43. Verdugo, 33. Surprise name in there. Xander's at 31 and JD 30. Batting average. Xander Bogaerts 335, JD 330, Devers 328. Those guys have been good pretty much all year. Verdugo at 247 and Trevor Story at 223. 223 is your fifth best batting average on the team. So keep that in mind. And then your OPS, you have Devers leading at 982, JD at 931, Xander at 883, Story at 728, and then Verdugo at 643. So clearly some power there from your big guys. Anything stand out of those numbers?
I would like to see JD Martinez home run total good tick up a notch, right? I mean, he's a guy that you expect to hit for power. He only hit 28 last year, so I think it's a trend. I mean, he's on that pace again this year. I expect Story to continue hitting a little bit. I don't expect 223. I expect him by the end of the year to be 245, 250. Truthfully, I think he's going to knock in 100 runs. I think that's the biggest surprise for me is how many RBIs when I was looking at the stats earlier this week, and it was like he's top 5 in the RBIs in the AL. He's only had one 100 RBI season in his 7-year playing career, I should say. It was 108, and he was in some pretty stacked lineups in Colorado for years with Aaron Arenado. So I mean, it's to see him up there and batting in the 6 hole, it kind of shows you a little bit of the depth 1 through 6 on this team. For him to be kind of leading the team in RBIs, I think the biggest surprise outside of JD's lack of power this year is Story, leading the team in RBIs. I was shocked to see that when I looked this week.
Well, and he's collecting a lot of those RBIs on home runs. So he's kind of making up for that difference. I'm just looking now. JD Martinez is, hold on, let me find it. Second on the team in doubles. He's got 23 to Devers 24. So that bumped up that OPS for sure. So his power numbers, he's hitting the ball hard, I think, and driving it. But yeah, generally he's getting those out of the ballpark. It's good to see the name in there that keeps sneaking up is Verdugo, that doesn't get a lot of play and doesn't get a lot talked about. But he's got to be cleaning up in that. What is he normally in the 7th hole, getting some guys on base.
I think he's hitting less than Trevor Story is. That's the problem, right? So last year he was hitting better. The year before, the 2020, he hit 280. Right. So last year, I think he was in the 260, and this year he was terrible. He's been terrible for a while. Like 33 RBIs, cool. We're in almost July at this point. You'd like to see more. I mean, he was the centerpiece of Mookie Betts trade, and you see Mookie Betts turning back into an MVP level caliber player this year before he cracked his ribs. So it's like, I'd like to see a little bit more out of Verdugo. Truthfully, I think his batting. I would like to see more out of him.
Very good. I'm glad you brought up that point about Mookie Betts, because I don't think we talked about this, but in an interview he said that he did not want to leave Boston.
I don't believe it.
Bullshit.
PR bullshit. Fuck you, man. You definitely.
He said it on a Boston podcast, the Bradfo podcast. That's where he said it on. If he said it was in LA, I guarantee he'd be like, yeah, fuck that town. Yeah,
he's full of shit.
Those racist cunts. I'm out of here.
And also to your point, he was an MVP before he hurt his ribs. Yeah. You're 5'7" average height, 180 pounds. You got 12 years left on your deal, $400 million or whatever. Yeah, the dude's going to hurt his ribs. He's going to hurt his leg and his arm and whatever boo-boo he fucking gets.
Get every last fucking dollar out of the Dodgers. I love it. I love how much money they get paid. Yeah, I'm with you too, but
I've always been on the camp. I wouldn't have paid Mookie Betts $425 million for 14 years.
I would have overpaid him to keep homegrown talent, but $400 million, that's right. 300 and change, I think, when he was 27 coming off an MVP year, it's like, okay, give him 10 years. Yeah, like, give him that 10 years, overpay him for that 10 years. If you want to pay him $40 million for 10 years, fuck it, just do it. You overpay your homegrown talent, but he didn't want to be here. That's all bullshit. It's all fucking bullshit. It's all PR bullshit, like you said. It's a Boston podcast. He didn't want to use that. Fuck him. Fuck Mookie Betts. I'm done. Yeah. He's dead to me.
Just the last thing on the lineup, Morta Verdugo for sure, that will help. Their outfield is hurting. Kiki's been in and out of the lineup with injuries, hasn't been able to get going. We know he's a streaky hitter anyway. Can't really rely on him for consistency.
Jared Duran's playing now up there.
And Duran has looked okay. I think
He's over 300 in his limited time. You know,
he did the same thing last year though when he fell off. Let's see if his experience last year can help. Generally happens with young players, right? They come up, they get a taste of the bigs.
27.
If you're, oh fuck,
All right, 26, 26 or 27. You want to talk about a guy that's coming up? Top 5 Red Sox prospect, another centerpiece of the Mookie Betts trade. Jeter Downs making his major league debut. Major league debut tonight, Wednesday, as we record this.
Can he play right field?
No, and he can't hit either.
Was he hitting 180?
I have right around the mid. I have no idea why they brought him up.
I have
no fucking clue.
I know why, because he's a key prospect in your system. He's sucked forever. They've tried to get him right down there. Now just try and give the kid a boost, bring it up to the bigs.
Have you realized lately they're pumping out the shitty assets they got back? They got back for the Benintendi trade, even though Winkowski's actually was saying he was the best pitcher. He's actually been playing okay, but Verdugo, Jeter Downs, they brought up Colton Wong the last couple of years. So it's like they're really trying to shove these guys that suck down our throat. I actually like Winkowski, but Frenchie Cordero is playing regularly now against right-handed hitters. It's like, Jesus Christ, you could have had these guys with fucking Benintendi and Betts. Right. Instead, now we get the fucking cast-offs that used to be those guys.
Speaking of cast-offs, let's do some pitching stuff. I'll give you the 5 main starters. Obviously, there's been more than these. Give you their numbers, then we'll do the bullpen. See if we can move through this rather quickly. Start with your guy, Ray. Michael Waka Waka Waka. One of the lone bright spots in the early days of this Red Sox season. Started pitched in 11 games, 59 innings. He's 5-1 with a 2.2 ERA, 41-17 strike to walkout ratio. Those are about the best numbers you're going to see out of this starting 5. This one's close though. My guy, Nick Pivetta, 14 games pitched, 81 innings, 7-5, 3.31 ERA, 82-29 strike to walkout. He had a rough start and then complete game. He pitched in the 7th inning a couple times too, right? He's been
back to back. Yeah, I think
at 81 innings, he's cleaning up against the rest of these guys in the starting rotation. So Evaldi, who's on the 15-day out at this point, 12 games, 68 innings, 4-2, 3.16 ERA, 72-16 strikeout to walk ratio. Garrett Whitlock in his first kind of stretch out in a MLB rotation, 48 innings, 2-1, 3.51 ERA, 49-11 strikeout walk ratio. And then the old man on the hill, Rich Hill, 60 innings, 3-1, 4.5 ERA.
I can't believe you've already got fucking 60 innings out of Rich Hill. That's surprising me. And who would have thought Evaldi finally, after a year and a half, is on the DL? Who would have thought?
Only the 15, only the 15er.
Who would have thought? No, but I mean, Nick Pivetta is your lone bright spot in the rotation right now.
Oh, you gotta give Waka credit.
No, I like Waka. Yeah, Waka's been a pleasant surprise. I thought he was a scrap heap guy, but the biggest
I would have guessed, sorry to interrupt, but 59 innings is low.
He was on the DL too. You lost 3 starts with him. He went on the DL, and he's a guy that you're hoping to get solid 5 innings out of him, and that's what baseball's turning to. I think when we're going to get into this, because I did read the email, you dick face Ray, but Chris Sale's coming back, so it's didn't even say
that once today.
What the role? Yeah, you did. So what the role of Chris Sale is going to be? So the importance now on a baseball team is your bullpen, right? So with him potentially coming back, you want to slot him right in your rotation. I'm pulling guys like Garrett Whitlock out of that rotation because he's your biggest weapon on the pitching staff right now, and you want him in the back end of that bullpen. The biggest weakness on the team and the pitching staff is coming in that bullpen. You're getting a little stability with Tanner Houck right now, but guys like James Paxton are coming back and guys like Chris Sale are coming back. That makes Rich Hill and Garrett Whitlock expendable in the rotation, and those are guys I think you stabilize that back end of that bullpen.
Okay, I'm gonna disagree with you a little bit, but in the same vein, I would put. We're skipping through the bullpen stats here. We'll get back to it, I guess, but I'd take Chris Sale and put him right into that late inning game role.
I'm gonna throw Ray's analogy out here. $30 million for a fucking closer?
What? Don't care. Don't care.
$27 million for a bench guy.
And here's how I'll justify it. You just said the more important part was the bullpen. We saw what Whitlock meant to them early in the season when they were dropping games. We seen it now. What they have a 6-1, 6-2 lead against the Cardinals that they almost blew the other night.
It's 5-. Yes, they won 6-5. They bring Houck in to get a 1-out save because fucking Strome coughed it up.
Whether it's Paxton, Sale, or Whitlock, out of those three guys, right? Try to stay awake. One more segment. Out of those three guys, I'm not trusting Chris Sale to go into the starting rotation and give me five solid innings right off the bat. I've already seen too much of him out of the time that he's been with the Red Sox to understand that that's probably not realistic. So give me Chris Sale for 2 innings on the back end, and let's keep stretching Whitlock out and see if he can become a decent top end of the rotation guy. And then give me James Paxton's heat in the back end too, and see where that goes. And Rich Hill as your 5th starter, or Seabold, or whatever trash you want to fucking keep bringing up from AAA. I don't give a shit. But I would put your guys that you really rely on that have the nasty stuff in your deepest hole. Irene joke insert, and that would be late inning bullpen, and that's where I put Chris Sale and James Paxton if those guys come back and they're actually healthy. That's what I do.
What do you think Sale actually comes back
after the All-Star break?
I comes back. Yeah, probably All-Star break. I mean,
they're saying 2 weeks, but
no,
you want him so you can spend 30 days on a rehab assignment. You want him to get 4 starts. He pitched 1 inning in Worcester or Portland. I don't even remember where he was.
I don't think he's gone there yet, has he? I thought he was just pitching down in Florida.
No, he had a rehab start. He had 1 inning.
Oh, did
he? Yeah.
I'll tell you right now, I'm throwing it all out there. Chris Sale is going to come back to a Cy Young level this year.
Right. We're going to do it. We're done with the Red Sox talk. Quick afternoon delight. We're back with Simplest Minds of the Week. Bill just made the list.
Again, 2 weeks running.
Sky rockets in flight. Woo! Afternoon delight. Whoop. You guys have it, I think. Afternoon delight.
I don't know, Ron. That sounds kind of crazy.
Are you stupid or something? Honestly, as stupid as a stupid does.
How did I make the list last week?
No, just show up. That's what Rich said. I didn't say it. Rich.
I was at a concert.
Rich, look it. I didn't say it. Rich said it. He said,
"You're
show
such a pussy." God, fucking own something once in your life.
His guns can reach my fucking house.
Here's how you made the list. We didn't have anybody else, and then we did. But then you still were on it, so cool. You're in the email.
Don't fucking
fucking cool me. This is mostly your segment anyway, so
yeah. Let's scratch the Bitcoin one because I just read something else that came out after that, and that Trevor Lawrence stuff. It might have been a little exaggeration there.
No, I read something different about Trevor Lawrence. I read what you gave me. He turned his 30. Welcome back. Here's the Simplest Minds of the Week. Let's start with the Bitcoin athletes. I read that Trevor Lawrence turned his $32 million salary signing bonus into $9 million in Bitcoin.
So I've read a little bit different. I guess he signed an endorsement deal with some website that paid him in Bitcoin, and the website called it a signing bonus. So I thought they added like his whole $24 million. He got $22 million in a signing bonus and $2 million from this endorsement deal, but the endorsement company called it a signing bonus. So they threw the whole signing thing into that little graph I sent you. So,
okay. Well, either way, we don't have to spend too much time on it. The run of athletes taking their salaries in Bitcoin has obviously bit them in the ass.
Pun intended.
Thanks.
Bitch tits.
With the drop of the market, thanks Obama, these guys are losing some money. I don't know if there's anybody else on the list that you gave me that makes. I guess Saquon Barkley's a big name. He lost 32% of his bonus, but
Russell Okun was the first guy. He took 13.
Also, by the way, I asked you what this was because you never described it. You just sent us this. This is just a fucking Excel spreadsheet out of some nerds.
It's Bill's.
I got all the info and I made it. I put the percentages up there and everything.
Bill's on his lunch break, just fucking throwing it down on an Excel
Of course you
spreadsheet.
did. I didn't know that. I swear to God, that's not even Excel. That's Word. You fucking grafted in Word, didn't you?
Yeah, you insert table and then you can just do it that way. You think I know how to do fucking equations in the Excel? That shit's hard as fuck. EX this, what square this? Fuck
Thumb
that.
plus A1, A50. I didn't know that. He did the numbers himself. What a fucking idiot. He put him into Word. Fuck. I gotta go back and look now. I bet you the fucking tab's all off too, isn't it? What a fucking idiot.
I just don't have the heart to tell him.
Wait, you didn't do it?
No.
God damn it, Bill.
You should just let him go with it, Bill. Damn it. You just ruined his night.
Oh man. I'm gonna pretend that you still did.
When you watch the video back, you'll see me mouthing it as your head's down laughing. I'm like, Ray, I didn't do that.
Oh fuck. Shit. I really wanted that to be true. It is in Word though.
It is, yeah. It is.
Okay. What else do we have?
Deshaun Watson.
Oh, Deshaun Watson settled 20 of his 24 rape cases or diddle cases against the massage therapist there. And I don't know what to think about this. Do the last four do him in? Where does the NFL go with this? This ties into my opening take. Roger Goodell sat in front of Congress and lied through his fucking teeth about the monster that Dan Snyder is. Why is this guy still an owner? Has he already threatened to come out with all the dirty secrets of all the other owners? That has to be it, right?
It has to.
He's the one that leaked the John Gruden emails.
Right.
Oh, I forgot about that.
Just a little warning shot across the bow.
I mean, because Bruce Allen got those emails.
Mm-hmm.
Bruce Allen and John Gruden are good friends, and Bruce Allen's the one that got those emails. You don't think Bruce Allen was like, "Hey, put this away for a rainy day"?
What happened with the Gruden? I don't remember which way this went. Did he sued? Did they throw that out, or did they throw the appeal out against
They threw the
NFL?
NFL's side of it.
Yeah. I thought that was true too. So yeah, they're in some hot water here, and now they're dealing with the Deshaun Watson shit. If he can't get those other four girls settled, it still might not make a difference.
Well, those are the four real girls.
Well, the
so
first one,
I have said this. I've said this. I think a lot of those people are probably people that had massages, gave massages to Deshaun Watson, and they're like, you know what? The first girl that came out. I think the real four that are going through with this are the real four that have legit shit against him. I think the other girls, whatever, kind of latched onto that thing and saw a payday in their mind. There's a reason these guys settle quickly like that, because that's to me where I see a payday. When they settle, there's 20.
Yeah, there was probably some type of,
but that's why the four haven't
asked
settled.
or like was forward with them. But it
who's
didn't
the
go
one he
far.
jizzed on her chin? That one probably didn't settle.
Chest
And
From,
face.
from
No,
a.
and face. And face.
I don't know if I trust it.
Dude, he must have been. I mean,
I want to see those fucking things. You know how they make those?
He's got a fucking elephant trunk between
That was
his
the
legs. That
most
thing could shoot
unrealistic-
across the room.
exhibits with the strings. I want to see like the dioramas that they make. with
Oh,
this
like
guy
a murder
jizzing.
scene
like
where
the
all the
FBI.
bullets.
Yeah.
Like,
Just jizz. This is how this jizz.
This is
fucking-
dude.
sexual
he's got-
assault. So we'll cut this.
He's got an elephant trunk between his legs. He could probably jizz across the room, not even
Allegedly.
hard.
And I don't think it matters on dick size. I've been listening to a lot of Segura and Kreischer these days. You ever listen to Tom Segura's bit about his loads? He's talking to Theo Vaughn. He's like, and he just comes
not funny.
Oh, I like Theo Vaughn.
Get him
I
in the
don't
right
like
room.
him.
Get him in the right room. He just Segura comes out and just goes, "Hey man, you shoot big loads." Like, I don't know if Theo Vaughn's like actually homophobic, but he plays the part in his skit and stuff. So he's like kind of backing off, and Segura's is like eventually like, "I shoot fucking massive loads."
That's a guy that gets built up for a little while. That's probably why.
Anyway, yeah. So the Deshaun Watson shit, the NFL scandal. These guys are a bunch of fucking morons.
And then the PGA and Live was the other one that we had.
Okay, yeah. Let's do
No, Brittany Griner.
Oh, two more. Okay, let's do Liv first. So Liv has blood money Brooks Koepka over to out of the PGA. Bill, we talked about this a little bit last week. We haven't got your thoughts on Liv Golf and the Saudi blood money that's taken Americans.
That's fine. The Saudi government can kill babies on the 18th hole of Augusta, and I would still join them because money talks. Money fucking talks. When Dustin Johnson got $125 million to play there for 4 years, and he could still play the majors. So why would you? Yes, he can be. No,
they're trying to abolish that because of the point system. They don't want these guys coming because of what happened with the U.S. Open. They don't want these guys coming and playing in the
PGA.
Explain that, Ray. Hold on.
Ray. No. I'll explain it right here. The four major golf championships are not governed by the PGA. The PGA does not own those 4 tournaments.
You need a point system in order to have enough points to qualify for these. And if you're on Live Tour, you're not going to be able to qualify because they don't give them the point system to.
But you also get exemptions. You also get exemptions.
Well, do you think they're going to hand out exemptions to the guys that are leaving for blood money?
Give me blood money all day. I'll eat dead babies to get blood money. I don't give.
I see it short lived. I see it as a payday. I see it as a if you guys want to go do this, good for you. The PGA they added a couple more tournaments that don't have cuts, right? And they're adding some money to the purses,
$20 million.
So they're responding. What do you like? You saw the Phil Mickelson, or at least saw clips of the Phil Mickelson press conference when asked about it. There's just no response. You just have to come out and say it.
I want the money.
Phil
Mickelson's a degenerate gambler.
Here's how you say it. This is no problem. I think Dustin Johnson said it. I made the best decision for my family. That's what everybody says when they go for the money.
That greedy son of a bitch. I'll never
see Paulina again. He's dumping millions into that pussy a day.
Oh.
A day.
I'd pay to watch that.
Who has the TV rights for Live right now? Anybody?
No one. It's YouTube.
But they have so much money they can have their own broadcasting system. What they're saying.
The Saudi government's investing like $600 billion into the Live Golf tournament.
Let me ask you this though. Come spring, the Masters rolls around.
Masters.
Nobody's there.
It's bad for the game.
Bad for the game.
Well, look who won the U.S. Open. Who the fuck won the U.S. Open?
Golf fans will say, "Fuck Live Golf. Give me my guys back." Or make a Masters. And can you replicate 100-year of history at the Masters?
Yeah, because the Saudis have plenty of slave land.
Got that.
It's true. Augusta was built on a fucking plantation. It's called the Masters for a fucking reason.
You can't dispute history, and comedy is comedy. Ray, what was the last one we had? Oh, Brittany Griner.
Bill, that's fucking hilarious. I didn't know about this.
Yeah, so Brittany Griner and his wife were supposed to have a press conference on.
Hold on. You keep saying his.
You did this in the text chain too to confuse me as shit. And I didn't want to be not insensitive. I didn't want to sound stupid, but you texted his. Brittany Griner is a female human being.
Okay, let me start over. But anyways, so they were supposed to set up a phone call for her and her wife, and for their 4-year wedding anniversary. But the U.S. Embassy in Russia decided they didn't want to staff the embassy that day. So his wife kept calling and calling and calling. No answer. Simple mind of the week. The U.S. Russian embassy. Idiots. But hilarious to me.
Rich, can I just give you something real quick? Bill's workday. Hey, Lou, I got a joke for tonight's show. You want to hear it? I'm going to call Brittany Griner a guy all night.
It worked.
It's going to be hilarious.
It worked.
Oh, that's super funny, Bill.
I don't do that anymore. I have a desk job.
Yeah, Lou doesn't come over for break still. Come on.
I'll suck a ducky if you don't kill me. This has been the Simple Minds Sports Show. Friday, rewind, June 24th.
The day of the Queen's birth.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Side Marty! You've got to come back with me! Where? Back to the future!
Gentlemen.
Queen, Richard.
Hey, Bill, Raymond.
How we doing?
Great. Can you hear the fan in the background? With
Nope.
me?
Nope.
No.
You hear my fan in the background?
Yes.
No, you can't. 'Cause
Yeah, we can.
I don't have a fan on. You fucking.
Is that just your weeping asshole?
Yep.
Good, because it's blasting over here, but that's fine because it's pretty warm and it's red wine night, so we all know I get hot on red wine night.
Is
Look
that
like
when
you
you,
look like you're sweating already.
Is that when the pants came off? Was red wine night?
That was everything. That was everything night.
Yeah, that was a.
Is that when Ray posted your asshole online?
Yeah,
that was a mystery cocktail. that was a mystery cocktail of whatever's next.
The angriest I've ever seen you on this program.
I mean,
no, it wasn't on this program. It was via text and phone calls.
Almost ended,
but it had to do with this program.
Correct.
Almost ended before it started. I didn't sign a non-disclosure.
NDA. You got to sign those NDAs.
Did you make Amanda sign one, Bill?
No, I have nothing to hide.
He's making her sign one. It's the marriage license.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can't testify against your spouse.
Click clack, motherfucker.
Clack. That just reminded me of Ray Liotta for some reason. We never touched on that. I think we were in a sensitive time when Ray Liotta died. I think there was more sensitive shit going on. So R.I.P. Ray Liotta.
Yeah, that my favorite movie of all time, Goodfellas, outstanding, and I love Ray Liotta.
Was Kevin Costner in Goodfellas there, Rich?
Surprisingly, no.
Wow.
I thought about this. I thought about this the other day, and I was like, man, because I was reading this thing. I just saw like a headline about Waterworld about being the biggest flop, and I was like, man, I guess I really do like a lot of Kevin Costner movies, and I just don't even
clicked.
I didn't even like realize it. I was like, holy shit, I've seen a lot of Costner movies. Some of them are really good.
We've shit on you for 2 years on this.
But I never realized like how many when you're thinking about it. I'm like, okay, this, and I'm like, holy shit, he's been in so many movies and so many are good, including Waterworld. Dude, Waterworld was a very underrated.
Everybody that you talk to likes Waterworld. No one's ever said I don't like Waterworld.
I've never heard anyone that said they didn't like Waterworld.
No, everyone's liked it, and it's just stupid critics. There are way more movies that you like that Kevin Costner and then Ray Liotta. He just happens to take the top billing.
The top billing, yeah, for sure. I mean, Goodfellas is a classic.
Yeah,
I know it's
favorite movie of all time.
It's not a wise thing to speak ill of the dead, but that poor man aged poorly.
Well, yeah, when he was in The Sopranos, like I know he was supposed to look old in that. He played 2 different parts. He played twin brothers, and the one that was in jail looked real old.
He was in a couple roles later on. It felt like he went away for a bit after Goodfellas, and then came back and he was rough. Like even in
like plastic surgery gone wrong.
No, I think he just aged bad. Like I don't know if he was into drugs or smoking or something, but it's like his face just got scrunched up. He was a dreamboat in Field of Dreams.
He was.
Oh, yes, when he came out of the cornfield.
That's a wet dream. That's a Billy wet dream right there. Kevin Costner and Ray Liotta and their dad's son. Bill falls asleep to them boning in the field.
John Cusack was in that movie, right? Too. Didn't he play Sheila's Show? Was that him? That one, I think he was in that one.
Was that John Cusack? No way.
Maybe I was thinking of 8 Men Out. Is he in 8 Men Out?
I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
Oh,
thank God, because I haven't seen it either. I didn't want to be ridiculed.
Oh, that's
8 Men. 8 Men Out is what we call Wednesday morning in Irene's. We started the show there, boys. Feeling good on that one. The Simple Mind Sports Show. We talk all things.